Good morning, YouTubers, afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching this from. Welcome to Create-a-liscious. Just another video. I'm just going to do something with this out of my book again today because I found this beautiful tissue. I nearly said a post-it note there, and it's so not. Wouldn't it be a great post-it note? But it's not a post-it note. It's a napkin. And I liked the colours, and I just love it. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to use that today. So let's just get my inspiration going. I'm just going to use that today, but first I'm going to sneeze, just bear with me. Sneeze over. So I'm just going to do a background, picking up the colours from here, which is kind of blue, green, and there is some lemon in there, but I'm just mainly going to do the outside edge. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze again. Oh, I've just lit an incense stick and clearly it's gone up my nose. So I'm going to be using my kids paint. Oh, got it all back to front. Where are you? My ready mix paint for kids in, what's that colour called? In just blue. It just says blue, but it's a really beautiful blue when it's mixed with this green. I just love it. And this is called mint green, but when I put the two together, they do kind of make this lovely, I call it underwater kind of look. Now I have no idea how I'm going to process this, and then I'm going to also probably throw in there some of the tissue water spray, tissue water spray, tissue watercolour ink sprays, good grief, excuse me, to see what happens. So I've no idea where I'm going to start with this, and then I'm going to craft glue that on somehow, but I just want to start this border. I don't quite know where I'm going with it. So I'm just going to play to see what happens. Let's shake that up a little bit, skip. And then and so, have I got a story for you today? Of course I have. I've always got a story for you. Do I want to dry brush this? Yeah, I think I might. So, what's my story today? Let's be inspired by something. I'll come up with a story in a minute when my brain starts talking to me. I'm just hoping you can see that. I know it went, all the dry bits. I know that when I'm actually videoing, it doesn't look as if it's recording it. When I watch back, it has done it. Spookery, I should have taped that up. Oh, never mind. That's okay, isn't it? It's okay. So, you have to start somewhere, as I've always said. What's my inspiration today for people? Is okay, I'm guessing there isn't any at the moment. Inspiration. There is some in there somewhere. There is, trust me. Let's just see what happens when we do this now. Do I want to spread that out? This is obviously going to affect that blue and green that I've just put on there. I just want to, I don't think I want to use, do I want to use the brush? So yeah, so when you're doing just anything, where does your inspiration come from? A lot of mine comes from nature. and events that happen in my life. People always say to me, how on earth do you stay positive in a situation like that might have been super negative, or most people would have crushed and burned from? How do I stay positive? Well, I always look for the positive in everything, because it has to be there somewhere, whether I can see it or not, whether it's evidential to me and or not. It is there. So what you focus on will come to fruition. I totally believe that, and I've got plenty of evidence of it. So if you focus on something I'm not saying you can avoid negativity. What I'm saying is how you react to it that's the most important part. If you literally react to it, then you're keeping the situation alive. And I know some situations are not pleasant, trust me. I know, because I've had my fair share. But it's how do you stay beautifully present in the moment when there's a whole heap of doodah going on in your life? Well, become the observer of the doodah rather than becoming the doodah. Just become the observer of it. You can't change it. If you interact with it, then you're just adding more, what I call, power to it, energy to it. You're giving it more life force. You're showing it that you are being bothered by it. So having no reaction, it's really difficult, because I used to be a real reactor. And it's taken years to overcome that. Not overcome it, but change how I react, I suppose. So I don't react anymore. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, because I'm so not. What I am saying, let's just put that on there a minute. What I am saying is that life isn't not perfect, and it never will be. So if you've got an expectation that, if I had this and that in my life, it would be okay, stop living the delusion there, because it's not going to be any different. Like the grass isn't greener on the other side. So, and if you think it is, then you're going to be disappointed. Well, you might not be disappointed when you get there, but then what happens is that you'll want more. You'll want, well, actually, no, I didn't find what I was looking for here, so now I need something else. And so off you go again, looking for that very thing that you think is going to, bring happiness or change the situation, and actually it doesn't at all. You're going completely in the wrong direction in order for that to happen. So from love and light and guidance, and having done many of these stories actually in my life as live versions of, I know how to tell these stories because I've lived them. And so living from an authentic space, that's the key where I'm going with this, is if you react to a situation, you're just going to add more power to it. If you observe it, accept it, acknowledge it, and just acknowledge it, just accept it and acknowledge it. And that, obviously there's a bit more context and detail that I could put in there. Just measure my tissue because I don't know how much space I want between there and there. I could really open that up depending on an individual's circumstances, but please don't write to me. I've got enough work going on. Please don't write to me with all your situations so that I can help you out, because I have a whole other life that does that, and that's not what this channel's for. But I just want to give these stories out to show, look, how this is being created from not thinking. That's why I tell stories, to show you that you shouldn't think when you're doing art. You should just become the art. You should just do it. Just flow. And so and now that I'm thinking, while you're talking, your brain can't actually be thinking because you're focusing on what your conversation is. So your artwork will just flow from this other space. That You know, people say they can't do two things at once. Well, actually, you can, because colour comes from a different space to language. So your left and right brains can work simultaneously, even when you think they can't. They actually can. What's under there? Ah, it's my fork. Oh, it's my scissors. So, yeah, just see if I've got my thread of my conversation now because I'm concentrating. So what I'm saying here, I don't quite know what I'm saying here, is yeah, diversity and all of that. Just, if you just don't react, see, become the observer of any situation, because you're going to have so much, you're going to help yourself in a better way. Reaction never creates anything other than more reaction. What you give out, you get back. So allowing yourself to be yourself. Don't want that on there now. Pause, because I have to use that. I can get my tissue out. Let's just use a baby wipe because I've got those right next to me. So pausing. Allowing yourself, not to react. It's so hard not to do when somebody's in your face or a situation is really raw. But you can do it, trust me, I know, because I've done it. And you know, if I knew now what I knew way back, I probably wouldn't have made so many mistakes in my life. Am I grateful for my mistakes? Yeah, sure I am, because I wouldn't be who I am today if I hadn't had them. So some of them have been horrific in my world. They might not have been in somebody else's world if somebody else was living in my shoes. But they were to me. So, you know. So what I'm saying is, if you can just live outside of the self and just allow whatever's going on to unfold and become the observer of it. Because it doesn't matter whether you interact with it or not, it's still going to evolve. It's still going to do something. Whether you're involved with it or not, if you was becoming, this is what the teaching was originally when I learnt from one of my mentors, just stand back and watch it now and see if it does anything. And I guarantee you it will, whether you're involved with it or not, it's going to do something. And it's a bit like watching a flower open. You'll never know what the centre looks like until you give it the opportunity to open. And you know, when you open, allow yourself to be open to be the observer rather than the reactor. You get more peace in your life, and things flow better. And you can't change the past. You can't take it with you, so you might as well just let it go because it's of no use to you whatsoever. Right. So far, not sure if you're picking that greatly up on camera. I'm trying to bring the outside in a little bit. I don't know whether I still want to do any more with that. Let me just have a... I've got my fork here, my plastic fork. This isn't my technical, because I was going to do wiggly lines. That's what came up. But no, that doesn't feel right. I'm not going to go with that. So I've used, I might do a bit more, maybe, of this. Glue in the middle because I can, really. No reason. So, thank you to everybody whilst I'm on the subject, while I'm thinking about the subject of subs. Thank you for everybody that's subscribing to my channel. Thank you to all the people that have recommended me. I can't answer all of your comments because I'm just so busy with another part of my world. But thank you to everybody. If I don't get round to saying a comment or thanking you, I am really appreciative. And to those that have recommended me, and to those that have, on all of that. So that's dry enough, I think, to put a bit of this on. I don't quite know which bit of this on. I think I only want a quarter. You see, and it just, and I might not even, so I hate straight lines. I learn, you can learn a lot about yourself with your crafting. And again, be the observer of what shows up. So I've learnt, I knew this part about myself anyway, but I've learnt that I don't like straight lines. Never have, never will. I don't do straight. And I think that flows out again into my life. I don't do normal. If anybody said I was normal, weird, I can cope with. If they said, like, I think Betsy Doodle said I was mad as a box of frogs, she wouldn't be the first person to say that, and she won't be the last. And I don't find it offensive, because I'm not your usual person, and I don't want to be, actually. I want to be as unique as I can be. I want to allow my uniqueness to flow out, and I'm not afraid of doing that. If other people don't like that, that's not my problem. Hear that if other people don't like it. So everybody's going to have an opinion about you. Great, they can have one, because it's theirs. It's nothing to do with me. Right, so what I'm doing here, so I just got some PVA craft glue, and I just watered it down a little bit and kept the colour on my brush, so it's kind of bluey now, so that I can just gently just paste this on. And I don't mind a few crinkles on it, because that just adds to the texture. But I'm just hoping I can get rid of the lines around the edge. I should have torn it around the edge, really. Bit like to be thinking about that now, Mia. So yeah, so I, people say, oh, you're as mad as a box of frogs, and you're this and you're that. Yeah, whatever. They can think and apply their own knowledge about me, and that's just their perception of, and they've made that perception just because they've just seen a little video, and they can come up with a perception. It's fine. I don't really have a problem with that. I know how the mind works. I know how people think. If somebody said I was normal, I'd actually be quite offended. I take it with a pinch of salt, but I'm thinking, you clearly don't know me very well then. Not that I want people to know me. You could never know a person, okay? I don't care even if you've been married to them for 60 odd years. You can only know what you have perceived of them in any one moment. And actually, that happened in that moment. Doesn't mean to say that that's who they are. That was who they were in that moment. So that doesn't mean to say that's who they are. I don't think we ever will find our true selves until we leave the earth plane and go out of the physical body, and then you'll truly know yourself. And there is, my conversations are like Russian dolls. There is messages within messages. It's whether you hear them or not. And that's again where your perception is. Most people don't get most of my messages, or messages within the message. And that's okay. I'm not asking you to. You're not meant to. I'm just doing what I'm divinely guided to do, and share my messages with my art being the channel for that. I like that. I quite like that, people. Let me just see. Oh, look, she's just getting so excited. I can just scrape these. Yes. There we go. I knew I'd be able to do something with it. Right, so I don't do straight edges. So what I'm doing is I've just got my little fork, and I'm just squishing along the edge of that tissue paper while it's wet, and I'm just pulling it just to unstraighten the edges, because I don't like straight. And I don't mean that in ways that some people could think about that conversation. Edges, I'm talking about straight edges. So, need to turn the book upside down. Okay, so, let me just get rid of that. Yeah, so, life is not always how, people perceive it to be. It's just a perception, and it is, and that's how people judge you. But that judgment may not be the truth. So if you're a really sensitive person, and you find that over your life people tend to judge you, and it really upsets you because you're super sensitive, trust me, it's not personal. It never will be. It just feels that way because you're sensitive. And most of the time people judge others because they are too afraid to look at their own lives. And that can come from being insecure or whatever. And again, that's me judging. See? So you can't get away from, is it an observation or is it a judgment? Well, that's up for you to decide. So, So, yeah, that's my little chatski for today, I think. It never will be over because no disrespect to what I'm about to say, but I'm flipping half Welsh and that's a struggle for a Welsh person to ever shut up. So, what are the little insights? I've got thousands of little insights. The key is just to be you, just to be. That is so not straight, but that's okay. Okay, so not, not even in the centre. Look, is it? No, I don't care anyway. What's that got to do with life? It doesn't matter as long. And actually, I just want to tear that a little bit more before it dries. Just to give it a little bit more edge. If that makes sense. Oh, look at that. You see, the less you try, the more amazing your work will turn out. So, okay, let's just leave that. Otherwise, I'm just going to have no tissue left, and then I'll be left with nothing on the paper. Okay, let me just smooth some of that out. Yes, that's my philosophy for today for you. And it might not be, but that was the first part. Where am I going now? So I'm going to do another one on the other side. Skippity-doo-dah. Am I going to do the same? Yeah. So, where in your life could you apply that there's just been... Okay, there we go. Let me just put some more. Oh, I've got it all over my fingerlows. Get off. Yes, so opinions of people and stuff. It's just stuff. Doesn't, I'm grateful for people's opinions. Well, it doesn't make any difference whether I get them or not. It doesn't stop me being me. Let's put it like that. And it certainly doesn't stop me doing what I'm going to do. It has no influence over me. Don't get me wrong. There's a part of me that's totally grateful. And that sounds quite callous then. I am totally grateful, and I think it's wonderful that people share on channels like this. Let me just put a bit of glue on that because it's so not going down. And I think it's wonderful. I think YouTube is wonderful for getting messages out to people and inspiring people and motivating people. I think it's just fantastic, the concept of it. Have that one there. And again, like anything, it's going to have its negative traits. But it's whether you focus on that or not. You don't have to. Nobody's asking you to. You choose to be or focus on whatever you want. And like attracts like, as I said in one of my other videos, that if you've got an intention to inspire and motivate, then you're going to attract the people that want to be inspired and motivated by art. Obviously, that's the channel we're on. And so sharing, because we're in a 21st century world where communication has seriously changed and it's not like it used to be, and some people miss that interaction, some people miss talking to people, and I think it's going to change even more over the next coming years. So it'll evolve like anything. Life evolves with whether you're involved in it and or not. Whoa, that's going super crinkly. Oh, it's because I didn't water my. I didn't put any. Let me just put it. Oh, look, I'm not even finishing my sentences because I forget that you're on the other end of that camera because I'm so used to talking to myself. Yeah, so just be you. Just be you. Don't ever be afraid of being you. And because only when you're you, you'll then start to evolve into and be more peaceful with your own self. and be happier with your life. Not saying that you're not happy at this moment in time, but there's some people out there that are just not, for whatever reason. And I like those crinkles. So just be you. Just allow yourself to flourish and be you. And that's really difficult. If it's going to feel alien to you if you've never done that before and allowed yourself just to feel the fear and do it anyway. And trust me, up to this point, I've done Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It was a book written by Susan Jeffers, and I did it years ago, but I've never been that fearful person, actually. I've done some radical stuff in my life, including scuba diving and riding really fast motorbikes, and I still do that. So I'm a person, free spirit, wants the energy to flow, and I found myself in doing that, and I've travelled and done lots of different things, but I don't believe I've come here to live, not come here to, and I've had some serious traumas in my life, and I've come out of them because I didn't believe that was my space to stay. So pretty much a fight, and nothing, I'm not saying nothing takes me down. I've been taken down by life quite a few times, but I'm like a phoenix from the fire. I just think, oh well, that was a unusual experience. It wasn't very pleasant, but I get back up and think, right, what's next? And sometimes these situations have taken me down for some years. I'm not always, it makes it sound like I get back up straight away if life knocks me down. No, I don't. Not always. And people say I'm a really strong person. If you was to ask me, am I a strong person? No, I'm not. I'm just, and I'm not always motivated either. I'm human at the end of the day. And it's just whether how I choose to express that, and all of those stories that I have been in, when they were negatively flowing from me, that I created, subconsciously created, they've made me who I am today. And trust me, most people would never have got through some of the experiences I've allowed myself to have. And that's not to say I'm any different to anybody else. It's just the way I chose to get back up from them is the difference. I don't think I'm a strong person, but a lot of people would tell you different if you asked my friends and stuff about me. And I'm not always positive. But I will always look for, there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason this is happening. There has to be a reason, a better reason than what I'm experiencing. And now I've learned a new version of, well, let's just let go and let's just see what happens. And let's not get interactive with it. And so I've really learned over the years to stop being reactive, because I used to be a very reactive person. And I react now in just fun-loving way. And, oh, that's interesting. Let's see what comes from that. Knowing that fear has never, well, it's been close a few times, but it's never killed me. When I did bungee jumping and I've done some, as I say, some radical stuff, fear, if I'd have allowed it, fear just paralyses you. It just stops you from doing anything you want to do. It's a real, I'm going to say it's a real killer. It is actually, and it's not good. But we were given it, so we can utilise it, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. Right, so I'm sure this is going to have more done to it, but it's going to take me a little bit longer. So I just want to pause, and then I want to dry this off, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just adding some texture using my stencil, which is this one. Can you see that? A snake's web, and it is Andy Skinner. I think I got it from Hobbycraft. I say that gently because I have no idea. I cannot remember, and it's not on here. So, and homemade texture mixture, corn flour and whatever that mixture is. done years ago. Now I don't use textured paint the way everybody else does it because I hate static. I hate things being, well, that's upside down. As I said to you before, I don't like things that are same as everybody else. So this isn't probably how you do it, but this is how I do it. My texture paint's quite runny. I don't know, but this is because I don't want it to be perfect. I just want it to be how it turns out. I can't explain it. It's just really weird that goes on in my head. It's like everybody probably would want that to be filled, each cell to be filled with texture, and I don't. I just want it to be that. Whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what I want it to be like, or that's how I want it to be. So, again, I don't conform. That's the one. I definitely do not conform with the norm. So, this isn't how textured paint should be done, but this is how I want to do it. So, when I do my art, I don't have to do it the way it is supposed to be done, because my life doesn't work like that. I don't think like that. And if it comes out like that, then it comes out like that. And I'm just going to try and turn this around so you can see it, but I need it to work closer to me. So, because I do like, I do like the randomness. I don't, as I say, I don't like perfection. I don't believe that there's such a thing. And well, there probably is in somebody's world, but not in mine. And, well, no, let me just finish that bottom bit off. Something there. So, I just try and tell you, live outside the box, because, and actually the box doesn't exist for me, it just is, so, and if that's how it wants to turn out, then so be it. I'm not trying to make it into anything, that's the whole point. It's just going to be whatever it's going to be. I'll have a bit up here, I think, just there. I'm mentioning snake skin. Snake is about transformation as well, shedding its skin and becoming something new, a new version of itself. And I'm not going to leave this white. I am going to do something with it in a little bit, but I just don't know what yet. Randomness and these are sorts of things that make you unique. It's just, I'm not saying you should break the law or anything, but just don't think that you have to be other than anybody, like somebody else, or well, their painting came out different, and oh, they did it different, or well, that's not how they did it. So what? I don't care. I'm me, not them. So, see, that's just like trying to be something that you're not, and you're not. See, squish that one a bit too hard. Yeah, it's just like trying to be something that you're not. Why would you want to do that? Just be you. You're amazing. Totally amazing. Maybe you haven't remembered that or realised it yet, but you are. I totally know that you are. I believe in you. I believe in everybody who has... I just believe in everybody, because whether they've seen that potential in themselves is irrelevant for me. Don't want that bit there, and we don't want that bit there. I might just put a little bit on there, just because I can. Yeah, why not? Just put a little bit on there. Just dab it on there, baby. So, who says I have to use textured paint the same way as everybody else? No, you just have to think outside the box and think, oh, you know what, I think I'll just do a bit of that. And I think I'll just do a bit of that. Whatever. I definitely just tell people or encourage people, oh, just do it. Please, I see so many, and speak to so many unhappy people with my work that it's just, please wake up, everybody. There's a world out there for you. You come here to live, well, no, I'm not saying don't conform, because as I say, I'm not asking you to break the law out. But you can be you. Oops. You just be you. And if you don't know what that version is yet, then wow, what an exciting journey you've got ahead of you. So that's it in white, and I actually quite like that just as it is. But I'm going to pause you and I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so I'm back. I've been in and dried it, and I actually tried to use some of my watercolour pastels on here, but it didn't work, so I redid some of the top bit here, and I'm just using my yummy plastic fork just to go in and put some more texture with the back of the fork. So I'm just using the back of the fork and I'm just going along to create some more texture in here, just in there like that, and around this one corner where I've messed, well I haven't messed it up, but I've just changed the originality of it, what it looked like originally. So I'm just going in there to do that. I'll show you, if I can get a close-up of it in a second, I'll show you. I'm just putting that just to create a little bit more. I don't know what I'm creating a little bit more of, but just doing that around the edge. So I dried the previous texture bit off, and now I'm just going to go over it with my fork. Just to create another dimension of texture. And again, if you don't like something, so what? Just is what it is. You know, textures, using texture paste and stuff like that, it's not my forte, but oops, missed it. But then I'm not an artist as such, I'm a crafter. So I'm an artist in my own right. But and as long as you enjoy the process, as I said before, just enjoy the process, and something come from that, whether you know, whether when you look at it you actually feel pleasured by it or you like it, at least you tried. And you know, some people say there's a point at when you stop or when you know when to stop, and I don't disagree with that. I like that texture better actually. So see, you can change a texture to a texture, and you know, it's my book, so I can do whatever I like. I'm just going to dry that off and come back to you again. Okay, so I've given it a little bit of a dry, and I'm going to try and come up to show you what it turned out like. You can't see very much there, to be honest, to be frank, whoever Frank is. I'd love to meet this Frank. So, and I'm just going to leave it white actually. I don't want to do anything else with it. I just want to leave it like that. I can't give you a full shot of the whole page because the camera won't probably let me do that. Quite might. See, I'm definitely not a cameraman from another lifetime. So I'm not going to apologise for this being a super long video because I was showing you tutorially how to achieve that. And I will actually then go around the top of this, all the edges, because I've gone over the blue hardcover, so I will get an incy-wincy brush in there and just go over there with, so this is the very first, as you open my book, this is the first page, and then you go into, these are those watercolours, and these were, what were these? These were the watercolour pastels, but this left page were the watercolour sprays. So just another way. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. Stay inspired, stay motivated, keep smiling because the world will smile back at you, and I'll catch you up again here soon. Thanks for watching.